So do you do any prep before you host other than, well, I assume you read your questions.
I get a beer.
Is that the first step in the successful trivia night?
Yeah. Step number 1, identify my friend who's the bartender and ask him to keep me from being thirsty.
Thirsty and sober.
Yeah.
So is that really what you do? You get the beer first, or?
They always check in with me first and see if I need something, usually.
So wait, you don't have to check in with them. They come
Right.
to you.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. So that part kind of takes care of itself, but
Did that take years to master, or is this you just have really nice bartenders over there?
I do, yeah. They were so good. Oh, beer tenders. They like to be called beer tenders. But now they were, I mean, at the last one that I was doing,
Right.
with New Realm, I could
Snap your fingers and
yeah, and they just be like, "Hey, what do you need?" But like, let's see. When I hosted karaoke, it was weird because I was like, I don't have a drink, and nobody's noticing. Weird. I guess I'll go ask for myself.
So are you? I guess that means you're a better trivia host than you are a singer. Maybe they don't want you there.
Well, they canceled it, so clearly.
Well, there we go. Case in point.
Oh my gosh, I know that was a disaster.
So you've done karaoke and you do trivia. Which do you prefer?
Oh, they're both fun in different ways. Like, because if I host karaoke, I get to sing.
Right.
And I really like singing.
Oh, that's right. You tried out for American Idol, right?
I tried out for American Idol. I've tried out for The Voice. And I've tried out for Deal or No Deal. I was on The Price is Right. Like, what
You were on The
show
Price
am
is
I?
Right?
Yeah.
How was that? Did you win?
A
new car?
I did not win a new car. I know. So this was like 10 years ago, actually. And had it not been for COVID, in October, I was eligible to go back because you're only allowed to go back every 10 years if you get on stage.
Oh, okay.
So I was planning to go redeem myself because I went like with a group of the students that I was in my program with for grad school at USC. And they were like, oh, they select one person always if there's a college group from that group. Like,
especially college girls, I'm assuming.
Yeah, probably. And I like was wearing like, high, what do you call them? Knee-length socks, and like I had my hair in pigtails and like my USC shirt, and like just looked awesome.
You look like a college girl.
Perfect. Yeah,
right.
It was great. And I was like, 23 at the time. So yeah, I just like was talking to all the pages and like went crazy the whole time, and they ended up calling me on stage. But you don't the reaction is real. Like, you don't actually know that you're going on stage until they call your name.
Right. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Unless,
so it's more exciting.
Did you think that they tipped you off ahead of time, or?
No, I mean, I think when they said that they always pick someone from a college group, I knew
you just knew it was going to be.
Yeah, because all my friends were like, they were excited to be there, but they were just kind of like along for the ride. And I am an
so they weren't as enthusiastic
hog.
as you were. Okay.
No, absolutely not. So I'll like send you the clip at some point, but it's me like, I'm like freaking out.
Did you trip and fall on your face or anything?
No, but I hugged one of the ladies at the bottom of the ramp and like just jumped up and down. I was freaking out. And then when it was my turn to bid on whatever the thing was, the first item was a TV and a subscription to Netflix.
Wow.
And a Wii. I know, it was like
that was like $4.99 or something back 10 years ago, right?
Yeah, it was like, oh, big deal. And when I placed my bid, it's Drew Carey, and I was like, Drew, I love you, and he said he loved me back.
Wow.
And then
so now you're married with 5 kids.
To Drew Carey. And actually right before we went on the commercial break, I spun the wheel and I won that.
Like, they let you do that, or you just ran over there and did it?
No, yeah, I did it because the longer story is I was what do you do? You're the highest the closest without going over on like the next thing that I bid on, which was like a bunch of Jessica Simpson like accessories and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which was, none of the shoes fit, like all the bags fell apart. It wasn't great, but I still had to pay tax on it.
Wow.
Yeah, and let's see. So I had to guess. My game was I had to guess grocery store products.
I've seen that one before.
And it was hard. Like, I mean, they give you the prices, so you just have to like mix and match them. But it was like probably a foot tall container of like hair gel.
Nice.
I was like, first of all, no one uses hair gel anymore. Like that.
Do they not?
Like LA Looks, or whatever. Like,
I used to wear the Aussie brand, the purple bottle stuff.
Yeah.
That's when I had hair, but yeah.
Right. Oh, you don't just glop it on just for fun anymore?
No. I glop on sunblock because I'm a ginger and
Yes.
burn like a match when I walk outside for half a second.
Right.
So you spun the wheel. How'd that go?
Yeah, it was great. So I won that. I can't remember what that part of the show is called, but I won the. I spun the wheel, and it's hard. It's very heavy, so I had to like jump up and just put all my body weight, and I hung on, like I was hanging on it for a second, and then pull it down. Yeah. And so I won that, and then before we went to the commercial break, I was standing with Drew Carey, like he's like, "Oh, we'll be right back," you know, and I kissed him on the cheek
While filming?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know if that'd be allowed now in today's climate, but
I think it's okay for a female to kiss a male in that environment, but yeah, you're right. Maybe not though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a podcast about trivia.
Yeah.
And The Price is Right.
Yeah. We're just going to talk about The Price is Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Time.
So
it was fun.
So that was fun. So game shows are a thing.
I love game shows.
Is that what attracted you to hosting trivia?
I would say the thrill-seeking of being in front of people. Like, I really like to host things and, like, lead things.
Right. Yeah.
And so
you
I've
do
always,
a lot
like,
of
been
that.
in leadership, and enjoy it, pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I have a loud voice. That helps.
Yeah.
And I just also, when I see, you know, something that I could do, I think that would be fun. And then I think, like, I want to be the best at it. And so when I'm, like, thinking about, do I want to host trivia, you know, I want to create an experience for people that, like, they would want to come back to.
Sure.
And it's because I'm, like, creating a fun environment.
And
Because, you know, you've been to, like, bad trivia where the
Yes.
host stinks
Yeah.
and has, like, you know, very, very quiet voice or too loud.
Yeah.
or
no personality. Or
right.
Or the worst is just don't give a shit about anything. Like, I'm just going to read these questions.
Yeah. Like, clearly they don't want to be there.
I'll be leaving in 1 hour and 43 minutes and 7 seconds.
Right. Like, it's, you know, and at some point when I was hosting regularly, it was like there was so much more work that had to go into it than what the money was worth. So you really at some point have to, like, really enjoy it.
You almost have to like the hosting part and the venue.
Yes.
To make it.
It's like a perfect, If you don't like any piece of it or multiple pieces, it's a perfect storm for, like, not creating a good experience.
I'm just going to do something else.
Yeah.
So you used to run New Realm Brewing on Tuesday nights for Geeks Who Drink, and with Geeks Who Drink, a blog is required.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that, so this is like the blessing and the curse of me is that I always want to, like, go above and beyond for stuff. Right. So actually I recently was talking to a friend who I host bowling, and
do you have to write a blog after you?
I have to write a newsletter.
You do? Each time?
Yes, every week. And it's fine because all I basically do is say, and actually the point of me saying this is it's always super long because I'm just like, hey guys, I want to tell you everything that you need to know and remind you of stuff. And, here's a funny story. And, here's a joke I heard. And my friend also does it in another city. And she was like, why? Because I said, I got to write this newsletter. It takes me like an hour and a half and I got to find pictures and all this stuff. And she's like, the person who does ours, it's like 2 lines every week. It's like, hey everyone, thanks for coming out to bowling.
Right.
Hope you had a great time. See you next week. I'm like, I can't do that. Like,
yeah, that's a little skimpy, but so, wow.
But I don't get paid more for writing longer. So I need to, like, need to find the healthy balance of, like, this is informative and, like, it's worth it to open the email and then just not going overboard and wasting time.
You obviously find content to write about with bowling, but is it more about what's going on in your life, or is it just about pens and gutters and balls? And
it's a combination.
Okay.
Because I have a hard time, like, focusing on, like, Sam threw a turkey, like, 3 strikes in a row. Wow, great job, Sam. Like, I'm usually just like, hey, great bowling, everyone. All right, let's talk about The Bachelor. Come see me this week if you want to talk about how what do you call it? How Matt, The Bachelor, acted super, lethargic.
Lame.
Yeah. Wow. With all the women, and, like, they'd say, I love you. And he'd say, I appreciate that. Like, ooh, like, yeah, I like you as a friend is almost how it feels. But anyway, so I would, like, add, just funny stuff but stuff that was relevant, and then news like, hey, remember this week to keep wearing your mask, and remember that we have drink specials, and remember to come hang out with us afterwards.
That's fun, I guess.
Yeah. It's, I mean, I actually, that's part of my full-time job is writing content. So it gives me good practice.
Yeah, that's true. And I guess if you're getting fulfilled from writing, the creative outlet is good.
Yeah.
Have you, so back to the trivia part, the blogs, you had to write a blog, and obviously you enjoyed that part. Wish you didn't have to do it, not to put words in your mouth. But.
No, yeah, I didn't want to because it just seemed like it seemed excessive. And I think like I could see the point, but I don't think that anybody was coming back to trivia because I wrote a blog.
What is the point, do you think?
Accountability, I guess.
Oh, okay.
But I think there's other ways to be accountable.
Yeah, I don't know what the reason was. The only thing that comes to mind is SEO stuff for the website.
Oh, sure.
But, when you live,
but they didn't never tell me like to, make sure that you have keywords,
right?
Or make sure that it's searchable. Like
exactly.
I was just writing, stream of consciousness.
I know the blog thing was a big deal with Geeks, and there was some rumors that they were going to get rid of that.
Yeah, I thought I remembered you saying that.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, we're 4 months later. What? Why can't we just stop? Like, what really needs to happen here? Just stop doing them.
Yeah, and I mean, like what you were saying about SEO. I mean, I still think that the best leverage a venue has, or I should say it differently, the best leverage we have for spreading the word about trivia is what the bar is doing to promote it. I don't think that people. It was like nobody was ever like, "Hey, I found out about you by searching the internet and your blog came up."
And the blog came up.
Like,
yeah.
No, it was like they might search for trivia, or now like I don't know, maybe using Instagram to search for trivia because it'll be a hashtag or whatever, or that your favorite bar is doing it because you've been there and you're just going to show up. So
right, yeah, I think the photos were always good. I mean, people that'll drive traffic to a website knowing that your photo was taken,
that you're featured,
yeah, and you want to see that. But one thing so when Geeks took over the Trivia Factory, we used to put the first question of the week on the website, and that's how we drove traffic to the website. Which would
that's right.
allow us to promote new venues to those eyeballs.
Yeah, I think I used to do, and I actually got the finger wag for doing this at one point, but I would do, what was it, like a bonus question or like a bonus phrase, and that was how I was driving people to the blog. It said,
cool.
Hey everybody, I write a blog, and you might not think to look at it unless your picture was taken, but if you want to earn 5 extra points on your trivia next week, make sure to like check out the blog and write down the passphrase from my blog. And I would give that team 5 extra points, but I was told to stop doing that, I guess, because.
Yeah, I could see the integrity of the point system is compromised.
I guess.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess it depends on what you're doing with the points.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it was just to like add to their score, so they had an upper hand. Like, well, if you're reading the blog, like, don't be mad that you're not reading the blog and not getting the points.
Right. What percentage of teams do you think utilize that extra point option?
Like, probably less than 25%.
Okay.
Probably less than that. Probably less than
the loyal
15%.
teams.
Yeah, like the people that were coming every week and like were giving me birthday presents, like the people that I actually knew.
That's a low key flex right there.
Yeah. It was and I actually have a confession to make. First of all, I can't remember any of their names now. Well, and at the time when they handed it to me, I couldn't remember any of their names.
That's funny that you say that. That was something that I found peculiar because
I struggled with.
You go to the same place every week for years sometimes, and you see a lot of the same people, and pretty soon the situation comes up where you have to address them, and you're like, you.
I feel so bad. And they're like, oh my gosh, you see me every week. I'm like, yeah, but it really takes me like 3 times.
Yeah.
And I think that's even scientific. Like you have to say someone's name.
I'm worse than that. I don't even recall your name at all.
Who are you again? Do we know each other?
Yeah. Hey, you. Buddy,
I just wandered into your apartment to record this.
Yeah.
Just thought it would be fun.
So yeah, the name thing is weird, but it makes sense when you think about it because we're not really having conversations in depth. You're not getting to know each other. But
right.
Did you ever get to know? Like, are you friends with anybody that you met through trivia still to this day?
Let's see.
Or any lucky gentleman buy you dinner one time?
I did meet guys sometimes and went out with a few, but they turned out to be flaky and weird.
Shocking.
So. I know, right?
Were they at least smart at trivia, or were they the dumb ones?
No, just dumb.
Just dumb. Dumb all the way around?
Dumb all around. And yeah, I think I did, like, I I'm trying to think of right now. Like, I think we just kind of lost touch. Like, but there were some friends that like I'd invite to my, house parties like pre-COVID.
Right.
And, I went to a show with one of the guys. We went to
Hootie and the Blowfish.
it was like it might have been Aziz Ansari.
Oh,
I think
that's cool.
Or Trevor Noah. No, I think I went Tracy from New Realm. I think she's not at New Realm anymore. She's at Firemaker doing the best job ever. But she and I think, went to see Trevor Noah.
That's cool.
And that was fun. But yeah, we saw Aziz Ansari, and it was good, but it was not his best show, I don't think.
I'm not a big fan of his. I don't hate him. I don't have any opinions of him. His comedy's not really in.
I think he's so funny.
Well, clearly. I mean, you bought a ticket to his concert or his show.
Right away, like as soon as the tickets were on sale. And I just love that it's so relatable, and I love the inflections he does with his voice, and I loved his show. Like Master of None was so funny.
Do you, when you watch his stand-up or other stand-ups, do you ever try and incorporate any humor on purpose into hosting trivia? Or
I do. I try to, like situational humor. Like I like to roast people too.
Really?
Yeah, just for fun. Like
that's a little scary.
Yeah, I think there was one time that I did it and I like called somebody out and everyone else laughed, but like that person seemed really mad at me and I was like,
What'd you call him out at?
I can't remember.
Fat guy in the corner? Or
no, it wasn't. I know. It was like, no, it wasn't like a personal attack. It was just like,
well, that's good.
I wonder if it might have been like, hey, can you like not call out answers, please? Like, can you shut up?
Oh,
thank you.
That's fine.
And everybody else laughed and well, you can be mad if you want, but you were talking out of turn. So
at least you didn't say, hey, sir, could you stop looking at my legs? Or
I know. Can you
embarrass the hell out of them or something?
Yeah. Can you, stop looking at your phone to get answers for trivia? Thanks.
I've seen you host trivia before, and you do have a very, what is the word? I would say.
Oh, God.
What do you think the word I'm going to say is as you chew ice from... There you go. Little ASMR podcast.
Sound effects, yeah. I would say moxie is the first word that comes to mind.
Okay.
But I actually know what direction you're going with this. And it's like, it's not abrasive, but it's like.
I was going to say aggressive or confident. But
yeah.
I was going to follow that up with, I don't mean like you wear boxing gloves to trivia and you're
right.
cold cocking people as they walk by.
I might have to sometimes because people
deserve a slap in the faces. No, yeah. I think it's a very confident style. Obviously, you learned that after a few trivia hosting gigs.
Yeah, it's also partly like I actually. So now we're having honesty hour, and we're going to share personal stories, personal things. I have struggled with like worrying about what people thought of me. Like,
right.
I struggle with that.
Everyone does
a lot. Like, yeah.
You mean just in general, not hosting trivia?
Yeah, just generally. Like,
but obviously, hosting trivia, you're really putting yourself out there.
Yes, and I think I've told you this before, like maybe in another recording that we've done. So if this is like back to back with that, sorry for repeating myself, but I always think of, remember when I told you about the Seinfeld episode where Jerry and George go on a double date and George for some reason like really wants Jerry's girlfriend to like him.
Yes.
And he's like, so what did she think of me? And he's like, she thought you were fine. He's like, did she think I was funny? And he's like, yeah. He's like, your voice went up.
Yeah.
She didn't think I was funny. She didn't like me. He's like, okay, she doesn't like you. And he's like, why? Why doesn't she like me? He's like, does everyone have to like you? And he said, yes, everyone must like me. I must be liked. And I feel that.
Do you?
Yes, I totally feel it. Because I want people to have a good time. And I know like there's now the thing of you're not for everyone and everyone's not for you.
Right.
And
well, I think that's always been a thing, but
right. And I just have heard it more.
Right.
And so that like makes me feel a little better. But like I want people to have fun and I don't want people to not come back because they were like, oh, she's too whatever. But honestly, like men can act that way.
Right.
And everybody's like, oh, he's funny, he's outgoing. But
right.
like women do it, they're like, oh wow. So she's kind of,
not ladylike.
Yeah. And I don't like curse a ton or anything either. Like, yeah, once in a while. Well, I told you that like I had a huge problem with like they were like I think unnecessarily adding the F word to our like trivia questions.
Oh, the writers were adding the F word
Yeah,
into
and
the
like
questions.
it didn't add anything special.
Like it sounded like a fifth grader just learned the word.
Yeah,
And
yeah, and like one, I think I even gave them that feedback, and I think the next week's trivia had like 5 F words in it,
Nice.
F bombs or whatever, and I was like, okay, I say the word, I just don't feel comfortable
on a microphone
saying it, yeah, like across the audience, because I think it can be a little bit off-putting if you don't really know a person and you're like presenting, if it doesn't add anything special. But like, you know, sometimes it's like, oh, it's funny, oh, haha, that makes sense that you said it because it was like appropriate,
right?
And it's a bar, like, you know, I'm not worried about offending anyone, but I just think I just don't think it adds anything.
Well, it's more that you just look goofy and unnatural when you're dropping them in when they don't need to be dropped in. It's
right.
like you're trying too hard.
Yeah, yeah. So sometimes I would just leave it out, and I think I want to say that like maybe I talked about it on our internal like forums with other trivia hosts, and I think one person was like, well, that might, you know, mess with the integrity of the question. And I was like, I don't think so. Like,
right.
Like it's not going to make it any more difficult for them to get the right answer if I omit this word. So
yeah, that's got to be awkward. But did you get feedback from people like, hey, bro, or they probably didn't call you bro, but maybe they did.
Some did.
Some did. Did they? I guess nobody really complained. It's more about what they might think.
Yeah. And I think actually, speaking of complaints, I think, okay, so the one thing that really got under my skin was one time, and this was like, I was at New Realm, and it was like, it was so crazy, Mike. You remember when like the weeks that I had like 25 teams, and then geeks would not, they were like, oh, you don't really need a scorekeeper, and I was like, okay, well then I'm going till 10:30 every week, like,
which is also terrible.
Yeah, and
that's
I'm still
a 3-hour show.
Yeah, and then I'm still getting paid the same. Like, okay,
and the blog.
Yeah. Oh yeah, don't forget the blog too. Do all this for free. And then, so I was like, I mean, I really was trying to get through it as fast as possible. Like with the, you know, we have all the techniques that we learn how to quickly grade, and like you know, question number 1, I say it one time, wait 30 seconds or whatever it was. Question number 2, wait 30 seconds. Do all that for 8 times. I go back through them all one more time. Turn in your sheet. Let's do a bonus question. Let's do round 2. And I had somebody come up to me like, I don't know if it was midway through or at the end, and she was like, yeah, that was just really too fast and we didn't have a good time, so we're not coming back. And I was like, oh, okay. I said, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I have to get through the show. Like if I don't move quickly, I think she did ask me to slow down actually. And I said, I really can't. Like, yeah, I think that's what it was. She like came to me mid-show or something and was like, can you slow down? Like we really, and I said, I really can't. Like I have time that I have to meet and stuff. And then she wrote into Geeks and told them that I was too fast and they didn't enjoy themselves. And then I got the feedback and I was like, what do you want me to do? Like, you need to pick, like you
want a scorekeeper or do you want a 3-hour game?
Right. So, and I like, you know, if the bar was open, they never minded because people were still drinking.
Right.
And I would check in with them like, hey, I'm going to probably go a little long tonight. They're like, no, that's cool. Like, you know, and if they were only open until 10, they would do last call at 10 instead of doing last call at 9:45.
Yeah, they can get away with that.
Yeah, and like, it was never a problem for the bar. Like, I think it was just more like I was getting annoyed because I was like, I'm trying to give a really good experience.
Right.
And you know, you have all of these plates to spin when you're a trivia host.
Sure.
Like, as we all know. And that's kind of what I was saying before about like, at some point you have to really, really, truly enjoy hosting so that you can overcome
the shitty parts. Yeah.
When you just have one of those days that like, you know, you left on time when you normally should, but there, you know, the road's blocked because there's a tree. So you have to go through the neighborhood. It takes an extra 15 minutes. You literally walk in when you're supposed to start. None of your stuff is out. You know, it's a new bartender. They have no idea where your stuff is. You can't find a manager. You're sweating because you ran up the very steep steps and now your legs hurt. And now you're flustered and you're like having people come up to you. Is trivia happening? Yes, please sit down. I like promise I'll tell you when it's happening. Stuff is broken. Like when I was texting you that one time and I was like, oh my gosh, they like broke the prongs off of the cable.
Yeah.
And like, I think you came and brought me another one or something. And oh my gosh. And and they were like screwing around with our equipment and like they were like letting some other vendor use it.
Yeah, they do a couple of different games. That New Realm is probably one of the more difficult venues based on the challenges that you mentioned because they do have about 40 stairs that you have to climb to get to the rooftop, and
Yeah.
it is a very busy, popular place.
It's so busy, yeah.
And
And yeah, so they don't like, that's the other thing is, I think like other places that I did trivia, they would have everything set up for me. All I had to do was like walk up to it and plug in my computer and start. So in those cases, like
that was nice.
it was amazing. Like if I was running behind or if I was, just to like take some stress off of me, they would just have it set up. But they're so busy, like they would often not even have time to like grab the table that I needed. So I would have to awkwardly go tell the two people that were sitting at the high top table I need to get.
Right.
So I can have it.
Right.
They were usually nice about it, but it still feels like
so awkward, right?
I was like, it's not my job.
Right.
Like, I don't want to like, make you feel unwelcome, but I need this table.
Yeah. You're going to have to take that first date somewhere else.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Take your Tinder date and go sit at the bar or something.
So New Realm was your second venue. You hosted at City Winery first, right? Or am I?
DBA Barbecue is my first one.
That's
And that
right.
it was very short lived. And I don't like,
That was when Geeks was pretty new to Atlanta. I think that was actually the first venue in Atlanta. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I think so. I might be wrong about
that's
that.
crazy. That was, I think I want to say that was December of 2017.
Before COVID hit.
BC.
BC.
Yeah, it was, DBA was fine. It was just,
Did you smell like a smokestack when you got home?
I hope so, because I love the smell of barbecue. Oh, I know my dog
Dreaming
was like,
about ribs and pulled pork.
yeah, they did have really good food, but I just don't think it was very popular. Like it just was like trivia. I think can be good anywhere, but it seemed really like I don't know. It almost felt like a family venue. Like I would see kids in there a lot. And
Yeah, can't really drop those F-bombs.
yeah, no F-bombs, but
So
it was just kind of a weird environment, I think, for trivia.
yeah, barbecue places are tough. There's a small chain of barbecue places called Moe's South. What is it called?
Moe's is a Mexican food place.
No, I know that. I know.
You were about to say Moe's Southwest.
Yeah, I did.
Southwest Barbecue.
And that's why I stopped myself after these. What the hell? Moe's Original. Whatever. Is it Moe's Original? Shit.
I think I can picture the logo in my head. I didn't know that was a chain.
Yeah, Moe's Original Barbecue. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a chain. Anyways, they really they do a good job like capitalizing on the bar business and drink program, unlike a lot of other barbecue spots. So DBA was short-lived. Then you went to City Winery.
Yeah, I was actually doing, oh my gosh, I was hosting trivia while I was also working a job that I had to be at 4 a.m. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, DBA didn't start until 8 o'clock. So I would finish at like 10, be cleaned up by like 10:15, get home by like 10:30. And
Then you got to
to
wind down.
Yeah, and then I was not in bed until like 11:30. So that was not like the best, but
You had to finish that episode of The Bachelor.
yeah, obviously can't miss it. And yeah, so then I went to City Winery, and there was a while there that I was doing 2 trivia nights, and I'm trying to think. That was
So
like
you
a
would leave
lot.
City Winery and go somewhere else?
No, it was like 2 different nights.
Oh, at City Winery.
No, it was like City Winery. I think City Winery was like Wednesdays, and like New Realm was Tuesdays or something
Gotcha,
like that.
yeah.
But I can't remember exactly. It was like not that long ago, but I struggle to remember.
How did you get into it? I don't even know that story.
Oh, so I loved this. So I found out that there was Disney trivia being hosted by Geeks Who Drink.
Oh, you're a Disney nerd.
Nerd is an understatement. I love Disney.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite character?
Character or princess?
Okay.
Or all of the above?
Sure. Give me your top 50 Disney characters.
Go in order. So
If you rattled those off, we'd close the show with that.
yeah, thank you everyone. Good night. So Princess Aurora or
Which one
Sleeping
is that
Beauty. Sleeping Beauty.
from? Princess Aurora is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the princess. So she's my favorite princess. And then I don't know, favorite character. I will say my favorite like niche character is the little porcupine stuffed animal from Toy Story because he speaks in like a British accent. He's so cute. I love him. And maybe also Doug from Up, the dog.
Doug from Up.
Yeah. Hi there.
I haven't seen Up.
What?
I'm not really into movies.
Come on. You're not into
I'm not.
That's like, I'm not into like eating. I just don't.
I've reached an age where I'll fall asleep now. It's like I just
Like 3 PM you're watching it. You're like, oh,
no, that
the
would never
movie's on.
happen.
I'm going to fall asleep.
No, that would never happen. 3 o'clock movie, screw that. No, I'd rather go to sleep, I guess. So you saw a Disney advertisement for trivia.
Yeah.
What bar was that at?
It was, and they don't do trivia at this place anymore, I don't think. Or no, they do. I told you about this. They were still using our logo, or like a similar logo to advertise, but they were using a different company.
Oh, I don't remember this.
Yeah, it was one of the Irish bars. Maybe Rira or Fido.
It was Fido.
Remember. Yeah,
but that was a kind of a licensing situation. So, well, you mean after they fired us for good? Whatever.
After. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was Disney trivia, the theme trivia, which I loved hosting. I love theme trivia. That's like, oh, I love it.
It's funny you mentioned that because I did a podcast with Sydney and Cameron, and the issue, or I shouldn't call it an issue, but theme trivia got brought up, and we had a long conversation about that. So you like it. Disney was what brought you in, and then so you walk in and you're in heaven, and then you
I'm dressed as Minnie Mouse.
Did you really?
Yes. Yeah, because I think there was like a prize for like the best dressed team or something. Oh, hey puppy. And let's see. And we ended up getting paired up with, I think like we ended up meeting a girl that we didn't know, and she was on our team. And then she was like, oh yeah, I love Disney. Like my husband and I have a Disney vacation club home. I was like, oh my God, what? It's like one of those timeshares on Disney property.
Yeah.
Oh, my dream come true. But Dave Ramsey says timeshares are a trap. So
yeah, they're not great.
Yeah. But anyway, so Lauren Wiggins was the.
Oh yeah, Lauren. Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
She's great. Yeah, she's really good.
Yeah, and she's like super energetic and outgoing. And she at one point said, "We are hiring."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Say no more, fam."
Yeah.
And I put in my application, I think that week to do it. And it just seemed super fun. And yeah, the rest is history, as they say.
What was the onboarding training process like? Not logistically speaking.
Yeah.
As you laugh at yours. But like, did you jump right in and there was no hesitation? Was there anything challenging about learning how to host, or what was the hard part?
Yeah, I think the hard part for me is always timing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just struggle with timing anyway.
Like the flow of the game.
Yeah. And, maybe taking a little bit too long. Maybe my voice isn't loud enough because I wasn't so I host, or I now train, or not train, what's it called? I instruct bar.
Oh, yes.
Have we talked about this?
Yes.
And okay, so it's like the Pilates and all these different things. I actually just learned about how we're supposed to talk about it. It's a full body workout that empowers your mind and strengthens your core, and it's a combination of core and cardio and strength training and stuff. But
you did a really good job selling that.
Thank you. Yes. Oh, it's so fun. So, so I guess my point of bringing that up was
flow and timing, and
that I've had to learn timing with that, and I struggle. And when I know why, because I am I feel fairly confident anytime I'm talking to anyone. Typically, I'm just talking to you right now is pretty much how I talk to most people. But when I my trainers have said they can tell when I'm not sure what I'm doing, because I'll maybe get quieter, or I do upspeak, and this sounds, or
that's
having inflection at the end of your voice, and it makes it sound like you're not sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can tell when someone's a little confused when they go up with their voice, because they don't really know what they're talking about or doing or whatever.
Yeah, and it can definitely take away from the experience, whether it's hosting trivia or instructing bar. People will know.
Or rolling a ball down a wood floor.
Yep. And
so how many weeks did it take you to feel like, oh, I got this?
So the training was I think it's one night of training, and then you're on your own, I think. Or no, was it 2 nights? Gosh, I can't believe it. It wasn't that long ago, and I used to train people, which we did not get paid extra for, which really grinds my gears.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, it's so annoying. I any job I've ever had, if you're training someone, there's an incentive for you to do it.
Right.
If you're having that responsibility, it's because you're great at what you do, and you should be compensated appropriately for being the best at what you do, and not just, oh, you're expected to do this. Oh, and by the way, now you have to share your bar tab. No.
Oh, wow. You had to share the bar tab too. So it's almost a penalty in more
than one
way.
Yeah. So the 1 week you share your bar tab, and then the next week your trainee gets the whole bar tab and you are supposed to get nothing. Now, fortunately, this is what I was saying about leveraging your relationships.
You got the hookup.
Yeah, they were like, we don't care.
Yeah.
Here, have a beer.
You're more fun drunk than you are sober, so feed her a beer.
Yeah, I'm very boring.
No, you're
beer.
not. Stop. No, you're not.
No
So
personality.
So a couple of weeks in of training, or a couple of times in training, and then you start hosting by yourself. And so eventually, sooner than later, you got the hang of it and really started to enjoy the hosting process.
Yeah, it was super fun.
So how does hosting relate to the other things that you do? And I guess we should be debriefed on that. You currently do bowling.
Yeah, I host bowling.
You'll be hosting trivia soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
You were doing karaoke.
Yes. Yeah.
What other
rest in
nightly...
peace. Rip to that karaoke night. It was the best. Just saying.
What's your favorite song? Not to get off track off the top.
My favorite song to sing?
Yeah.
Usually something Lady Gaga. Shall I do some right now? Give us a chorus now.
Hit a beat for me.
Yes.
So back to the question before I got off track with your favorite song. What other activities do you do?
So I host bowling, I instruct bar.
Oh yeah, bar.
And I moderate trivia online on Tuesday, every other Tuesday for the Better Off brand. So they have Better Off Bowling, Better Off Inside, Better Off Brunching, and they're all it's all under the umbrella of Better Off.
That's cool.
You know, so they started Better Off Inside once COVID started, and they started doing a virtual trivia night I think the trivia is every Friday, but then Tuesdays is every other Tuesday, and it's a theme trivia. So the last one I did.
You forgot already.
Was I supposed to? No, I was just thinking.
Uh-oh.
Was I supposed to host or moderate last night?
Uh-oh.
No, it's every other week. So, but the last one I did was last week, and it was Mean Girls trivia. So fun.
That's your wheelhouse, huh?
Yeah. And so
what do you mean moderate?
So
You mean host it?
No. So my manager that actually also manages Better Off Bowling, he is the host. And so he gets on a live Facebook video, and everybody else, they get in Zoom or Google Meets together.
Right.
And he basically, he's in a little box, and then, to the right of him on the screen is the question. So he'll put it up like a slide, basically. And then as he's putting them up on the slides, I am in a Google Doc pasting them so that people can look at them at, if they, didn't hear the question, or they got up to get a drink or something and they come back and they're already on question 3, there's a doc for them to look at, to reference.
Right.
So I'm pasting the questions one at a time in so that they don't see all the questions at once.
Interesting. Yeah. And so that company, Better Off, they started this inside after COVID happened because I guess they can't go to brunch. You can't go to, what'd you say, bowling?
Yeah,
at the time.
and they're based in New York City too.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So that's
super
the epicenter of COVIDity. So
COVIDity, yes.
we've coined a lot of words for COVID today. This was the bar that was really crowded. That felt really COVIDy.
Yeah.
That was good. I liked that.
So what was your COVID situation like as it relates to trivia? Did you get the call before you were walking out the door, or what were your thoughts before that?
So I'm trying to think.
So just for context, I think it was March 16th that the sales team at Geeks got laid off, along with a few other folks.
Yeah, it started rumors started to circulate.
That was a Monday.
But that happened after they said we're going to stop doing trivia. And that was the worst day of my life, because I loved going and I loved being at New Realm.
Mm-hmm.
And I told you when we were there the other night, it felt, did I tell you that? It felt really nostalgic.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah, it was and depending on how the breeze hits you and you're on the roof and you got the right beer and you're just you just have to wipe away a tear. But yeah, they shut it down completely. Yeah. And then people were getting laid off, and our manager sent us this really I don't know. It felt like such an apocalyptic kind of thing.
You were talking about from Geeks, not from the bar, or
right. Yeah. 'Cause I think they communicated to the bar that we weren't doing it anymore. And
Right.
but then all the bars started to just shut down. I think, and I don't remember if it was the chicken or the egg here. Like if the bars started shutting down and then they were like, okay, well, obviously we can't do trivia if the bar shut down.
Yeah.
And yeah, everything just kind of came to a screeching halt. And then I got this apocalyptic like email from my manager being like, hey guys, I'm no longer with the company. So good luck. I was like, whoa, like what is happening? And like,
Right.
we hadn't even like, I hadn't heard anything from the company yet, like from corporate. And I was like, what is going on? Like,
Right,
why
yeah.
are we totally disbanding it? Like, this isn't, at the time we're like, it's only going to be 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Yeah,
and now it's a
we're-
year later, and now we're, finally starting to pick up the pieces. But,
Right. Yeah.
a lot of bars have moved on from.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, I looked at some of the venues probably 2 months ago now, which I guess is more shocking when I say that half of the bars that I looked at had started using another company.
Yeah.
I mean, they obviously.
And to be fair, I think largely it was about money. Because when I asked Tracy about us coming to Firemaker, they had already picked a trivia company, and her main point was they don't require a contract and they were cheaper. And which bummed me out because I was like, well, I wish that you would have contacted me because like there's options now,
Yeah.
So I was bummed about that, but
Kind of sucks that you were like your last night was not known.
right. Yeah. There was no like it's like those memes, like, you know those like big green electrical boxes that were like in people's neighborhoods?
Yeah.
And that meme
I
that's
had
like
one
you
across
sat
the street.
yeah, one time you sat on this for the last time and you didn't even know. And I was like, oh my
Wow,
gosh.
that's crazy.
Oh, I know. I was like, that gave me chills.
Right.
So it was like that. It was like the one time you put your mic down and put your equipment away for the last time and you didn't even know.
Yeah, I did a show with Robert Payne. By the time this is out, that one will be out as well. But that's something he brought up. He's like, one of the venues that he hosted at, he was there for almost 10 years, if not a little more. I can't recall exactly, but he said, yeah, that was like, I did my last show and there was no goodbye. There was no knowing that it was the last time. Everybody was just
Stinks.
like, oh, the flu.
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. And so many, like when we were talking about creating relationships with people who would come regularly, like I still have my Google Voice number that I use to like have them submit bonus questions. So I could probably text those people anytime.
Right. And let them know.
Like I wonder if they're thinking about me.
That's funny. Yeah, they probably are because they're probably wishing. New Realm has replaced their trivia company on Tuesday, so those folks.
Wah, wah.
Yeah.
Aw,
Well,
sad.
I want to thank you for spending a little time talking about the biz,
Yeah. My pleasure.
and hopefully, COVID is in our rearview mirror, and you'll be hosting soon enough.
Yeah. Hopefully so.
All right. Anything you want to say to the single men out there?
Stop acting up. Please just text her back. That's all we're asking.
That's all you're asking? That seems reasonable. All right, you hear it, fellas. Make sure you text back. Just say something, right?
Anything, literally.
I'm alive. I'm not in a ditch.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you again.
My pleasure.